Finding the right living arrangement as we age can be challenging. Today, I'll introduce you to Eleanor, who discovered an innovative solution after trying traditional options. You'll learn about a living arrangement that offers independence, community, and services without the institutional feel of nursing homes or the burden of living with family. Hi there, I'm Eleanor, and I'm 67 years old. You know, it took me some time, but I finally found a perfect living solution for this chapter of my life. But let me tell you, it wasn't a straightforward journey. I worked as a manager at a telecommunications company for over 30 years. These days, I have a pension of about $2,800 a month. I have a son and a daughter who both have their own families and careers. They're wonderful children, don't get me wrong, but they have their own busy lives to manage. 2 years ago, my husband Richard suffered a severe stroke and passed away suddenly. Losing him after 45 years of marriage was just devastating. Everywhere I looked in our house, I saw memories of our life together. I couldn't sleep at night. The silence was deafening. Some nights I'd find myself talking out loud just to hear a voice in the house. My children were worried about me being alone. My daughter called and invited me to stay with her for a while, and my son suggested I come live with his family. I was touched by their concern, but wasn't sure what would be best. We've all heard those stories about multi-generational households that work beautifully and others that create tension and resentment, haven't we? I decided to stay with my son's family first, since they live closer, but I quickly realized it wasn't the right fit. My son has 2 young children, and the house was always busy and noisy. I love my grandchildren dearly, but at this stage in my life, I really crave a certain level of peace and quiet. After decades in a busy workplace, I was looking forward to some tranquility in my retirement. There were tensions too. My daughter-in-law seemed resentful that I hadn't been more involved with childcare over the years. While she never said it directly, I could feel the underlying resentment. The atmosphere was strained. I found myself tiptoeing around their house, trying to be invisible, which is no way to live, is it? After less than 2 weeks, I decided to return to my own home. I realized an important truth. The parents' house will always be the children's home, but the children's house will never become the parents' home. No matter how welcoming they try to be, I didn't feel I belonged there, and I believe they felt the intrusion on their family life as well, though they were too kind to say so. Some friends suggested I look for companionship, and I was introduced to Frank, a widower a few years older than me. At first, things seemed promising. We enjoyed walking through the farmer's market together and having coffee. He was pleasant company and seemed to be looking for the same things I was: companionship without complications. After a few months, Frank suggested I'm moving with him. He mentioned I could rent out my house for extra income. It seemed like a reasonable arrangement. We'd share expenses and keep each other company. I was still feeling lonely in my house, so I decided to give it a try. But less than a month into living together, I knew it wasn't working. Frank was messy and expected me to do all the household chores. When I asked him to help, he'd just sit on the couch. And there were other issues too. He was quite frugal and seemed more interested in having a housekeeper than a companion. Once when we went shopping, I saw a lovely scarf that cost less than $30, and he made a comment about frivolous spending. I realized I had exchanged one uncomfortable living situation for another. So once again, I returned to my own home. But now I was faced with the same problem, the loneliness and the memories that haunted every corner. I knew I needed to make a change, but I didn't want to give up my independence by moving to a nursing home or assisted living facility. I was still in good health and perfectly capable of caring for myself. I just needed a different environment. Then something wonderful happened. At my friend Olivia's son's wedding, I reconnected with Patricia, who mentioned she was living in what she called a senior hotel apartment. She described it as comfortable, convenient, and reasonably priced. I was intrigued. This was a term I'd heard before, and it certainly didn't sound like a nursing home. The next day, Patricia took me to see her apartment, and I was immediately captivated. It wasn't a nursing home or assisted living facility. It was a vibrant community of independent seniors who wanted comfort, security, and social opportunities without sacrificing their freedom. The facility looked more like a modern apartment complex than a medical institution. There was a beautiful lobby with comfortable seating areas, a library full of books, a fitness center, and even a movie screening room. The grounds were well maintained with walking paths and gardens. Patricia's apartment was a comfortable studio with a small kitchenette, a modern bathroom with safety features like grab bars, and a lovely sitting area. It was small but perfectly adequate for one person, and she had furnished it with some of her favorite pieces from her previous home, giving it a personal touch. What impressed me most was the dining room, which looked more like a restaurant than a cafeteria. Residents could choose to eat there for any meal or cook in their apartments if they preferred. There was a calendar of activities posted in the lobby, everything from book clubs and art classes to yoga and local outings. And importantly, there were no nurses' stations or medical equipment visible. This wasn't a place for people who needed medical care. It was a place for independent seniors who wanted a maintenance-free lifestyle with built-in social opportunities. These senior living apartments offer a unique middle ground between aging in place at home and moving to assisted living. They provide private apartments with full kitchenettes, daily or weekly housekeeping, optional meal plans in community dining rooms, scheduled transportation services, social activities and community spaces, and emergency call systems. But there's no medical care or assistance with daily activities, which is what makes them different from assisted living facilities. I finally discovered a lifestyle that suited my needs perfectly. Each resident has their own apartment. Mine is a comfortable studio with modern amenities. The highlight is that they provide 2 meals daily, so I don't have to cook much. There's daily housekeeping too, which is a blessing at my age. My apartment is my own private space, but I can socialize whenever I want just by stepping outside my door. When I was considering making the move, I did some calculations. The senior apartment would cost about $2,900 a month, which was more than my pension. However, I could rent out my house for about $1,500 monthly. That would leave a shortfall of about $600 per month. I called my children to tell them I'd found the perfect solution. When they heard about the cost, they expressed concern that it might be too expensive. I was direct with them. If you think it's too expensive, you could help me a bit. I don't need much. Just $300 a month from each of you would be enough. After working hard all my life and helping them get established, I didn't feel guilty asking for the support. This wasn't just about having a place to live. It was about having the quality of life I deserved in my golden years. And frankly, it was a more affordable option than if they had to pay for a caregiver or assisted living facility down the road. My children agreed, and we worked out an arrangement where they each contribute a small amount monthly to supplement my pension and rental income. I've been living in my senior apartment for almost a year now, and life here has exceeded my expectations. I have my private space when I want it, but there's always company available in the common areas. I've made wonderful friends who understand what it's like to be at this stage of life. There are activities every day, from book clubs to exercise classes to movie nights. The staff organizes outings to concerts, museums, and shopping centers. I can participate as much or as little as I want. I've joined a watercolor painting class that meets twice a week, and I've discovered a talent I never knew I had. The dining room serves delicious, nutritious meals, and I've enjoyed not having to cook every day. When my family visits, we can either dine in a community restaurant or go out. It's wonderful to be able to entertain them without the stress of preparing meals in my own kitchen. There's an emergency call button in every apartment, which gives me and my children peace of mind. But unlike assisted living or nursing homes, there are no nurses or caregivers here. Everyone is independent. We look out for each other, though if someone doesn't show up for dinner, their friends will check on them. It's a natural community of people who care about each other. I've maintained relationships with friends outside the community too. I still attend my church and meet my old colleagues for lunch occasionally. But I don't have to worry about home maintenance, lawn care, or security anymore. And I never have to eat dinner alone unless I choose to. Let me tell you about the costs of different senior living arrangements. Aging at home might seem free if you own your house outright. But when you factor in property taxes, insurance, utilities, maintenance, and potentially home health aides if needed, it can range from $2,000 to $5,000 per month. Assisted living facilities average $4,500 per month, and nursing homes can exceed $8,000 per month. Those options also come with less independence and privacy. Senior living apartments like mine typically cost between $2,500 and $4,000 per month, depending on the location, size of the apartment, and amenities offered. For me, it's worth every penny. The convenience, social opportunities, security, and comfort far outweigh the cost difference. At this stage of life, I've realized that money is a tool for creating the life you want. You can't take it with you, and I don't want to be a prisoner to saving every penny. As long as I can eat well, engage in activities I enjoy, and maintain my dignity and independence, I'm content. Now, I should mention that this type of accommodation isn't suitable for everyone. It's designed for seniors who can still take care of themselves. Most communities have age requirements, typically 55 or 62 and older, and some have upper age limits or health requirements. If you need assistance with daily activities like bathing, dressing, or medication management, you would need assisted living instead. And if you require ongoing medical care, a nursing home might be the appropriate choice. People often ask me, what will happen when you need more care? I tell them I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. For now, I'm in good health and enjoying every day. When the time comes that I need more assistance, I'll work with my children to find the next right solution. Many senior living communities even have assisted living and nursing care on the same campus, so you can transition to more care without leaving the community entirely. After trying different options, I finally found what works for me. My advice to other seniors is to explore all the possibilities and don't be afraid to ask for what you need. This is a time in our lives to focus on quality of life and peace of mind. I've learned that there's no one-size-fits-all solution for senior living. What works for one person might not work for another. It's important to be honest with yourself about your needs, preferences, and limitations. I've also learned that it's okay to ask for help. For years, I prided myself on being completely independent, but accepting some support, whether it's financial help from my children or the services provided at my senior living community, doesn't diminish my autonomy. In fact, it enhances my quality of life and allows me to focus on the things that bring me joy. Perhaps most importantly, I've learned that it's never too late to build a new community. After losing Richard, I thought my days of making new friends were over. But here at the senior apartments, I've formed deep connections with people who are at the same stage of life. We understand each other's joys and sorrows in a way that even my own children sometimes can't. If you're at a stage in life where you're considering your living options, I encourage you to look into senior living apartments or independent living communities. They offer a balance of freedom and support that many active seniors find ideal. These communities allow you to maintain your independence while eliminating many of the burdens of home ownership. They provide opportunities for socialization, which is crucial for mental and emotional health as we age. Remember, aging doesn't have to mean isolation or dependence. It can be an opportunity to build new communities and connections. It can be a time to rediscover old interests or develop new ones. It can be a time of freedom from many of the responsibilities that have occupied your adult life. Thank you for watching this video about senior living apartments. If you found my story helpful and inspiring, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content about innovative approaches to senior living. Click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos about aging well. Do you have questions about senior living apartments or experiences to share? Please leave them in the comments below. Your insights could help others who are exploring their options. And if there are specific topics related to senior living that you'd like us to cover in future videos, let us know that too. Remember, there are more options for senior living than ever before. It's about finding the right fit for your unique situation. Until next time, here's to living your best life at every age.